Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakak, Kodash, Mahamoth. I want to give a double honor to the elders of GMS and the scientists to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm the Carbon Yasharala, coming out of the GMS Lions Den camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And I'll be coming out with a little lesson today. And it's about graven images, Our people, they make graven images, they worship these graven images, and these graven images don't have power to move, they don't have power to see, they don't have power to make alive or anything. These graven images don't have power to do anything. But our people have subjected themselves unto idol worshiping, and it's going to be a recompense for that, and it is a recompense for that. Without further ado, I'm just get right into the scriptures. I'm going to start out at Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of Yahweh, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is, neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster. See, our people are already vain by nature. They don't understand, and they don't see that out of the good things, that was the Most High who did these things, and they don't acknowledge the Heavenly Father as the one who did all of these things, whatever these things is, the earth, the heavens, the stars, the moon, the sun. Anyways, verse 2, but deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars or the violent water or lights of heaven to be gods which govern the world. See, our people, they worship everything but the Most High. They think the stars, the sun, and the moon, the waters, or the lights of heaven. They think that those things are the gods which govern the earth, and that is not true. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, he's the governor of the earth. He runs the show, not the stuff that he made. I'll say not the stuff, but the things that he made, such as the wind, the water, the trees, the sun, the stars. Verse 3, with whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Our people, they take these things that the Heavenly Father created to be gods, instead of taking the Heavenly Father, he himself, to be the God, because he is the God, he is the power. He is the one who ruleth over all these things. He rules this. Let them know how much better the Lord is of them, for the first author of beauty hath created them. See, what our people worshiping, and and what they've subjected themselves to, the Heavenly Father, the Lord, is better than all these things. He is the author of beauty. He created these things. He even made man create false gods to worship. Verse 4, but they were astonished at their power and virtue. Let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. See, our people, they caught up on the power of all this stuff, and they believe these false idols. We don't understand that the Heavenly Father is mightier than all these things. Verse 7, I'm going to skip down the verses. For being conversant in his works, they search him diligently and believe their sight, because the things are beautiful that are seen. See, our people, they have subjected themselves unto this idolatry and this false worship of graven images, because they see the things that the Heavenly Father, he himself, has made to be beautiful. And they think that those are the gods. They think that they really govern what's going on. But that's not true. Verse 8, howbeit neither they are to be pardoned. Our people ain't going to be pardoned for worshiping these idols and these things that are not powers, that are not gods, these things that do not govern the earth. Verse 9, for if they were able to know so much, they would that they could aim at the world how did they not sooner find out the Lord thereof? And if they were able to know so much, they worship these gods, and they know so much about all these different false idols and religions. If they could aim at the word, how did they not sooner find out that it was the Lord who did these things? The things that they worship, it's up the Heavenly Father. He made them. He caused them to be made. Verse 10 says, but miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope, who call them gods, which are the works of men, works of men's hands, gold and silver, to show art in, and resemblances of beasts, or a stone good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand. See, our people, they are miserable. They're going to be miserable. They're miserable now. They think all these false deities out that's made up of all this silver and gold and wood and stone, that's good for nothing. These false idols, these images, these fake powers, they don't profit nothing. And our people gonna be miserable for worshiping these things. Verse 11, now a carpenter that felleth timber, after he hath sawn down a tree for the purpose, and taken off all the bark skillfully round about, and hath wrought it handsomely, and made a vessel thereof fit for the service of a man's life, and after spending the refuse of his work to dress his meat, hath fulfilled himself. See, our people, they make these graven images. These graven images are made out of trees and stuff. They're made out of anything that a man can work. He gets it and he spends the refuse of his work. He spends a lot of time making these things, these graven images. And after he has done, he dressed these graven images up, and he's fulfilled. He is glad in these dumb things of stone and wood and gold and silver that has no power, that does nothing but sit there. Verse 13, and taking the very refuse, the very refuse among those which serve to no use, being a crooked piece of wood full of knots, hath carved it diligently, when he had nothing else to do, and formed it by the skill of his understanding, and fashioned it to be the image of man. See, our people, even these false gods, mostly our people, they do these things. They spend a lot of time carving these false gods out of wood that's full of knots. You know what I'm saying? They do it diligently. They make these false idols, these graven images, diligently. Just look around the world. Just look at this place here. This place here, Babylon is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Egypt was a place of a lot of they worshipped a lot of false gods and graven images. They make these images, and they make them in the form of man. Or verse 14, or made it like some vile beast, laying it over with vermilion, and with paint coloring it red, and covering every spot therein. See, or they make a graven image unto some beast, a cow or owl, or tiger, lion, anything. And they cover it. They paint it with vermilion. They cover it up with paint and dress it all up and make it look pretty. Verse 15, and when he had made a convenient room for it, set it in the wall, and made it fast with iron. After they done built these images, and they make up these images, then they want to set them in a specific room, a convenient room. Then they want to fasten this image down, or fasten it to a wall with iron, with rods and screws and different things like that. Verse 17, then maketh he prayer for his goods. Then they bow down to these false deities that they have made with their hands, for his wife and children, and is not ashamed to speak to that which has no life. And then once, like I say, they make these images, then they bow down to it, and they worship these images and pray to them for their wife and kids. And they're not ashamed to bow down to things that have no life in it. Verse 18, for health he calleth upon that which is weak. For life he prayeth to that which is dead. For aid humbly beseeches that which hath least means to help, and for a good journey he asketh of that which cannot set a foot forward. See, our people, they pray to these false deities and these false graven images and gods for things, you know what I'm saying? They calleth upon something that is weak. They prayeth for life from something that which is dead. Our people pray to dead images, dead things. They beseech, you know what I'm saying? They beseech these false deities for help. When this false deity can't help nothing. This false god can't help nothing. This graven image can't help nothing. And for a good journey, they ask these fake false graven images for a good journey when these false images can't move or go nowhere. Verse 19. And for gaining and getting, and for good success of his hands, asketh ability to do of him that is most unable to do anything. They ask these graven images, they pray to these graven images for good success, for the ability to do whatever, but these graven images are unable to do anything. You know, our people they are caught up in these graven images, and that's also a thing for a strong delusion, because the Heavenly Father has sent our people a strong delusion that they worship wood, stone, gold, and silver in these false graven images. But you know, our people, they like to do this, and they won't turn back. They won't hear the words of the Heavenly Father. They won't open the scriptures and look to see what happens and what can happen to you when you serve a graven image or a false power. This is chapter 14, verse 1 of Wisdom of Solomon. Again, one preparing himself to sail, and about pass through the raging wave, calleth upon a piece of wood more rotten than the vessel that carrieth him. These graven images, yet again, are made out of wood. They're made out of stone, gold, silver, plastic, whatever you want to call it. And these people, our people, they worship and they pray to these gods of this wood, or gods of wood, or whatever, that's more rotten than the boat that's carrying them across the sea. You know, if they want to go on the sea, you know, they pray to this false deity of wood, and it's more, that false deity, that graven image, is more rotten than the boat that's carrying them across. This is verse 2 of chapter 14 of Wisdom of Solomon. For verily, desire of gain devised that, and the workman built it by his skill. You know, they desire of gain, our people, of these graven images, but it ain't nothing but something that's worked by the workman, that's built by skill. The workman took his time out and carved it out and did all these things. But I'm gonna just jump down to verse 8, because you know, our people don't understand that these graven images don't profit us nothing, and they can't do nothing. Verse 8. But that which is made with the hands is cursed, as well it as he that madeth it. He because he made it, and it because being corruptible it was called a power, or called God. The man that made this graven images is cursed. He is cursed. The one that made it, he is cursed. You know. And because, you know, he made it, and it's Salakia, I'm dealing with a little bit of wind. Anyways, let me get back on focus. But yeah, anyway, the man that made it with his hands, he is cursed. The graven image that was made by the man, that graven image is also cursed. You know, and then it was corruptible. It's corruptible. And then they turn around and they call it a god. Verse 9. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto Yahweh. The people that make these graven images and bow down to these graven images, they're ungodly. And their ungodliness is hateful to the Most High. The Heavenly Father hates the fact that our people bow down to graven images and worship graven images. Verse 10, for that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. These graven images, these men that's making these graven images, our people that's making these graven images, or making whatever it is a graven image, that person that's worshiping that graven image and the person that made that graven image, they are both going to be punished. The Heavenly Father is going to destroy them. He's going to recompense for what they have done. He's going to recompense them, pay them back according to their deeds for what they have done and what they are doing. Verse 11, therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles, both spiritual and physical, shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of Yahweh they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. So that means it right there. You know, these physical Gentiles, they build graven images all the time. Guess what? There shall be a visitation. The Heavenly Father is going to come upon them. He's gonna visit them for their wickedness, and also the spiritual Gentiles, which are our people, Yasharallah, Israel. The Heavenly Father is going to visit them for worshiping these graven images, and they'll become an abomination. Our people have become abominations. These graven images are abomination to the Heavenly Father. They have become stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. These graven images are stumbling blocks to our people. They have become a snare to the feet of unwise men. A lot of our people are unwise. Verse 12, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. See, our people, the devising, when you devise something, you sit down and you think up upon something, you make up something, of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication. That's the beginning of spiritual fornication. When you decide you're going to worship any other power that's not Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. It's the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. Through these worshiping these graven images, you become corrupt. I'm gonna just jump down to verse 16. Thus in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law, and graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings. See, devising these images, our people worshiping and falling down and bowing down to these images, eventually this became an ungodly custom, and it grew strong, and it was kept as a law by and the graven images by the kings, you know what I'm saying, by the kings at that time, in the times. These kings that was being set up at the time, you know, in the days of old, they was commanding people to worship graven images rather than the true power, which is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Our people agreed to this, and they bowed down to these gods that are no gods, and they worship these images that are no powers, that have no power, that are dumb. You know what I'm saying? Everything. I'm going to just jump to verse 27. It says, for the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. So these worshiping the idols was the beginning and the cause, and it's going to be the end of all evil. The Heavenly Father is going to destroy these graven images just like he's going to destroy the ones that made it and the ones that's worshiping these graven images. This is chapter 15 of Wisdom of Solomon. Thou, O Yahweh, art gracious and true, long-suffering and in mercy, ordering all things. For if we sin, we are thine, knowing thy power. But we will not sin, knowing that we are counted thine. For to know thee is perfect righteousness, yea, to know thy power is the root of immortality. See, if we know that the Heavenly Father is our true power, that's the root of immortality, you know. And because, you know, the Heavenly Father is long-suffering, and he has mercy in ordering all things, if we sin, we are the Heavenly Father. So, you know, because we know that we are the Heavenly Father, that we should not sin, and we won't sin if you truly know this. Verse 4, for neither did mischievous inventions of men deceive us, nor an image spotted with diverse colors, the painter's fruitless work, fruitless labor, I should say. But labor means work, but the scriptures say labor, so I'm gonna say labor. But you know, a lot of our people, well, we gonna say a lot of people do worship, but it's a select few that is not that didn't go to these mischievous inventions of men. You know, no an image spotted. That's these graven images. I would say not 2/3, because 2/3 of our people going to be recompensed and judged. I would say the hopeful elect and the 1/3 women and children. They did not follow these mischievous inventions. You know what I'm saying? Made by man. You know, nor an image spotted with diverse colors. These graven images. You know what I'm saying? A remnant of Israel did not bow down and won't bow down and worship these false deities. But 2/3 of our people, they fit verse 5. The sight whereof enticeth fools to lust after it. And so they desire the form of a dead image that has no breath. Our people, you know, these graven images look good. You know, they want to worship the Buddha statue and Ganesh and all these other crazy graven images. There's so many names and so many of them. But, you know, because they look all glitzy and glamoury, they entice our people. 2/3 of our people are fools, and they are enticed by these things. So they desire the form of that dead image. They desire to worship that dead image, which has no breath. That dead image is not alive. It cannot save you. It cannot bless you. Verse 6, both they that make them, they that desire them, and they that worship them are lovers of evil things, and are worthy to have such things to trust upon. See, the one that make the graven image, the one that worship the graven image, and the one that desire to have these graven images, they are the lovers of evil things. These graven images are evil things. They are not good, but they are worthy to have such things to trust upon. So they are worthy of these graven images, to trust upon these dead images that have no breath, that cannot see, that cannot move, that cannot bless, that don't make the heavens, that nothing. Verse 7, for the potter tempering soft earth fashioneth every vessel with much labor for our service. Yea, of the same clay he maketh both vessels that serve for clean uses, and likewise also such as serve to the contrary. But what is the use of either sort? The potter himself is the judge. You know, these people, they make these, you know, the same ones that make these graven idols, they also make other things that's for good use. But ain't no benefit in making graven images, worshiping them, falling down and bowing to them. But the people that do, 2/3 of our people in these other heathen nations, they are worthy of that. The trust in that. That's what they are worthy of. So the Heavenly Father, like, you can have that, because that's what they're worthy of. They're worthy of trusting in something that has no life. They're worthy in trusting in a power that is no power, a God that is no God. Verse 8, and employing his labors lewdly. See, when you make these graven images, you use your skills or whatever the Most High gave you lewdly. You misuse it. He maketh a vain God of the same clay, the same one that made these vessels of soft earth, that's for clean, and also the contrary. He that maketh the vain God of the same clay, even he with a little before was made of earth himself, and within a little while after returneth to the same out of which he was taken, when his life was lent him, shall be demanded. Yet again, the same one that make these graven images clean and of contrary, it's the same one that's that make these graven images out of a vain God, out of the same clay. Even that which, like I said, even